Hello and welcome to another episode of Film Spill, a movie night podcast. I'm your host, Chelsea. Film Spill, if you already don't know, is a podcast that comes out every week, and we talk about a movie by a female filmmaker every episode. We also discuss women in the entertainment industry in general. We play slumber party type games, spill entertainment gossip, and get to know each other and our guest. This week, we have a returning guest, Lizzie, who is a producer with Onyx.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome back, Lizzie.
It's good to be here again for one of my favorite movies of all time.
This is great. This is a classic. We are going into like the OGs here.
We should say what it is too.
We should. The anticipation has now risen. Today we're going to talk about Sanaa Hamri's drama romance film, The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 2, 2008.
Yes. I have loved this movie. I had a Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants themed birthday party as a kid where we watched the movies and I gave everyone a copy of the book. I read all the books, including the one that came out like 10 years later about what the characters got up to in the future. And I think the first Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants is the movie I've seen the most times.
Really? I didn't even know that they had a sequel.
Oh, there was 3 books originally, I think. And then the 4th book came out like years later about what they did when they were older. So I actually think this movie is a combination of the last 2 books. Let me see.
Interesting.
Yeah. They kind of smush it all together, you know? Also, the director of the first film, Ken Kwapis, came to my teen film class in my senior year of college. So it was really cool to talk to him about that too. Okay, yeah. So there was actually 4 books. I was wrong. There's 4 books with a 5th one coming out later. And the second movie that we're going to talk about today is a compilation of, or like a smushed together version of the 3 books that came after the first movie.
Interesting. So what happens in the 3rd book? They still go to Greece.
The 4th book, they go to Greece. Yeah, sorry, I misspoke. Yeah. So, but the thing about I guess we should, if you haven't seen this film's been out for like 15 years, so we're going to spoil it. Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
The 4th book does end with Effie taking the pants and losing them in Greece, which I'm still mad about after like 10 years. So.
Oh, so the pants are lost.
Yeah, and they never get them back.
That's so sad.
I know. It is sad.
But I guess it's like bittersweet too. It's like, all right, it's time to move on.
Which I did think the end of the movie where they all jump off the cliff together was a good way of, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there for sure. But first, we're going to be playing our slumber party type game.
And I have never been so ready for a celebrity guessing game in my entire life. I'm going to knock this fucking out of the park.
I hope so. I try to make it like easy, but also like a little challenging.
There's a couple in here that I'm not sure about, but a lot of them I'm extremely confident about.
Okay, awesome. So if you guys haven't gotten the memo, we're going to do a game that I created called Guess the Celebrity, right? So because we have so many OGs in this film, I figured we'd do a celebrity guessing game. I will give you a prompt.
This cast is stacked.
Right, it is, and they're still killing the game. Like they're still
besties. All 4 of the OG castmates are still besties, and I think they all said they'd be down to do another movie. So
come on, we need another movie, especially if we're doing like a recap of where they are now in their lives.
Oh yeah,
that'd be great.
I don't even want to tell you what happens in the 5th book, but it is very controversial. But we've got our 4 main cast members being America Ferrera, Blake Lively, Alexis Bledel, and Amber Tamblyn.
You already know.
Right there. Yep.
Seriously. All right, I'm going to ask you the question, and then you'll let me know like who you think it is. I have the answer key on me.
Okay.
So I didn't want to put it on there because then, what's the point?
Yeah, then I'd see it.
Exactly. I was trying to hide it. I was like, hopefully she doesn't go and see like the history. Okay.
But I'm all ready anyway.
All right. Awesome. All right. So question number 1. This celebrity was on The Handmaid's Tale from 2017 to 2021. Wow, I can't even say that. With their role being Emily Malik.
That would be Alexis Bledel. She won an Emmy for that.
Yes, she's so good in it too. Like,
Oh my God. Yeah. She has really honed her craft, which it's funny because oh well, wait, I'll say this at the end because I think this is related to another question, but yeah, we'll get there.
we'll get there. But yeah, she is actually no longer on Handmaid's Tale anymore. Season 4 was like her departure. I don't even think she's shown in season 4 anymore. I
Yeah,
forget.
so I watched the first couple seasons of that show, but I'm not really caught up. I kind of lost interest with the direction it was going in, but she was great for the parts I saw her in.
You stopped watching it?
I just like I don't know, there was just like once they kind of veered off the I don't know if you read the book, but the book wraps up in like a really satisfying way, and so I kind of wish they had just kept it, but I get why they had to keep the show going. Hulu needs those sweet Emmys.
Exactly. Exactly. And they need to keep it funding, right? These
Yeah,
people still want
exactly.
their
That's
jobs.
like that was like their big like juggernaut show for a couple years there. I don't think it still is, but I mean, I guess it is. But
A
yeah.
lot of people have told me though that they stopped watching it, that they haven't even gotten to season 4 yet because season 3 is dragging for them. But I'm like, I don't know. I love it. Like, I don't know what it is. I just
I
keep
mean, it's
getting entertained.
definitely, it's definitely a big, like cultural touchstone for a lot of people. But I do think it's interesting that they have Elizabeth Moss playing the main character because Elizabeth Moss is a Scientologist. So it doesn't like quite vibe with the story, but whatever.
I know. I still can't believe she's a Scientologist either.
Oh my
Like,
God, you would not believe like there's so many like actors who are like secretly even I believe I could be wrong about this, so I don't want like a bunch of you to get a bunch of hate mail, Chelsea, but I believe that at one point Will and Jada Smith were involved in Scientology for like 5 seconds.
what?
Yeah. So crazy stuff.
Interesting. There's a lot of crazy stuff that happens in the entertainment industry that like we don't even know the half of it.
Oh yeah, we don't. All right. So what's the
Right.
next question
Number
for this
2.
game?
This celebrity played Serena on Gossip Girl.
That is, of course, Blake Lively. Gossip Girl is another one of my favorite things. Anybody I know will tell you that. But I honestly think the 1-2 punch combination of Blake Lively in Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants and Blake Lively in Gossip Girl turned me gay. She's not really my type now, but back then, yeah, that's probably what did it.
Yeah, no, she killed it. And then her career started really like skyrocketing after
Yeah.
Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
Like she was in movie after movie. Like I just remember always seeing Blake Lively.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that out of the 4 of them, she's definitely had the most commercially successful career.
Yeah, because she's just steered in, I think, film more so. Like she stopped with television and the other ones kept up with like TV.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, number 3. This celebrity had a starring role on House from 2010 to 2012.
I want to say Amber Tamblyn.
Yeah.
Is that right? Oh my God.
You're
Okay,
right.
that was like kind of a shot in the dark. Okay.
You're like, who would like fit into this mix?
I was trying to mentally run through their careers in my mind, being like, when was there a gap for this to happen?
Yeah. I didn't even see her in House. I guess because I haven't watched too many episodes of House.
Yeah,
I
it's
have
a
to rewatch
long
it.
show. I've only seen a little bit here and there with my mom. My medical show heart belongs to Grey's Anatomy, unfortunately.
Wow, you're a Grey's Anatomy fan?
You would not guess it. But yeah, I think at this point it's because it's been 18 and a half seasons. So I can't stop. I've heard people compare Grey's Anatomy to being the white woman's One Piece, that like really long manga and anime series that's like 7,000 episodes. Yeah. So Grey's Anatomy is my white whale. I can't give up. I'm in too deep.
They have a new cast, and there's a new cast member on there, Adeline Kane, who just recently came on, and I love her because I used to watch her in Rain when she was in that
Let me
CW
look up
TV
which
show.
one she is. There's a lot of new cast members. Yes, that's who I thought you were talking about. You know her?
Yeah, she was in Rain.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Hmm. She's really nice. Like I like her as like a person. I really like her acting abilities.
Yeah, I'm happy she's taken off, and I mean being a Grey's Anatomy cast member pays pretty good apparently. So
Really? Shit.
yeah, oh yeah.
Sign me up.
Right?
I'll pretend to be a freaking doctor.
I'll pretend to be a patient. I'll just lay there really still.
Yeah, that too. Oh my God. I didn't even think about that. Less is more, right?
Exactly.
All right. Let's go to question number 4. This celebrity is known to be an actress, producer, and director.
I want to say Blake Lively because she has been dabbling in directing recently. She actually did direct a Taylor Swift music video as well. So am I right?
You're not right.
Oh my
She
God.
is
Okay.
steering, yeah, but she is definitely steering in the direction. But this is
Hmm.
actually America Ferrera.
Really? I didn't realize that she directed.
Yeah, she's been directing. So she directed some episodes of Superstore. And then she also has been directing just like here and there. She's going to be directing a new film based on a book, Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter.
Wow, that's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. Oh, I gotta see
Yeah.
that. I mean, I've been really, trying to keep up with all four of these, like, big people from my childhood. So it's nice to know that she's booked and busy.
Yeah, everyone seems like they're just
Booked and
tailgating.
busy.
Yeah, booked and busy.
May
Keep it
we
going,
have the
keep it going.
same, I like to have everybody keep up that booked and busy vibe.
I know, because I'm not feeling it.
Me
I'm
neither.
not feeling the booked and busy vibe, honestly. Ugh. All right, question number 5. This celebrity just gave birth to her 4th child with Ryan Reynolds.
That would be Blake Lively, and their first three children are named James, Betty, and Inez.
Wow, you know that?
Because it's Taylor Swift borrowed their kids' names for her folklore album. I don't think they've announced the name of their fourth kid yet, though.
They're like best friends, right?
Yeah, they're besties. Hmm.
How do they become best friends? Like, what's the tea?
I'm not sure. I personally always just kind of assume that all famous people know each other, even though that's not how that works. So if somebody is even remotely famous, I'm like, oh, cool. So you know Beyonce. And that's like not how that works.
No, they have their own circles apparently. An
Oh
influencer was
yeah.
talking about that.
I'm sure
Yeah.
there's like a little friend group drama that will never come out that is just like concentrated in their circles.
Yeah, for sure. But then again, who isn't friends with Taylor Swift? I feel like Taylor Swift is like friends with
Yeah,
everyone.
she's had and has many famous friends. So I mean, I personally feel like being friends with a celebrity is probably really stressful, especially if you're not famous. And she has some not famous besties. So I don't know, that must be an interesting life experience, I guess.
Yeah, that's been happening a lot though. I wonder how that works out. I don't know if just like because I know if I was in that situation, I feel like I wouldn't care if like my friend was a celebrity. Like I feel like that doesn't change it. They're still that person. Like they're still people, you
Yeah,
know?
it's just like I guess like being famous just sounds really scary and horrible to me because I think about like, I know part of this is like the age at which you enter the industry, but like I think about all the people from our childhood like Lindsay Lohan and Britney Spears who like their lives were like essentially ruined by becoming famous. Like and now they're like, living like regular lives again, but I mean for a while like being an actor or being famous just like is really, really fucking rough. Yeah, I don't know. Being famous sounds really hard and scary to me. You can't like do stuff that you used to be able to do.
Yeah. But I think that's like there's pros and cons to that.
Oh, for
And
sure.
like,
I mean,
yeah.
having fame and money, like there's a reason that like that's like so many people's goal. But I personally think the best situation to be in is if you're powerful and successful, but people can't recognize your face. I think that's when you've got it on lock.
Yeah, and I feel like in the film industry in general, like there's a lot of successful people in the film industry who do like indie independent films
Yeah.
that you don't even hear about, but their
Yeah.
careers are like
And there's a
high
lot
up
of like
there.
character actors that have very specific like niches that they fall into. Apparently, only 2% of, SAG-AFTRA being the actors union in Hollywood, only 2% of SAG members make a full-time living off of acting. So you've got a lot of people sprinkled in who are just like here and there doing stuff.
What?
Right. Isn't that crazy? Only like 2% or so actually are full-time actors.
That's insane. Well, I mean, like, I get it though. Like, there's not always a part that you fit into when it comes to films, and then you have to meet the right
people who do stuff just like here and there, or like do commercials or whatever. So,
Yeah. It's so hard. This industry is so rough. But we gravitated towards it. Like, I don't know about you, but like, I always knew that I was going to be in the film industry. Like, I knew from a very young age that this is what I wanted to do.
Yeah. I think kind of like same / somewhat similar for me. I never had like that big epiphany moment that people have where they figure out what they wanted to do. It was kind of just a like, yeah, this is what I want to do kind of like thing that like came about slowly. I mean, quite a few of my family members also work in the industry, so that influenced me in that way as well. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think that for a lot of people, there's like a big moment where they're like, I'm gonna move to La La Land. And I was already here, so I was like, all right.
Well, at least you don't have to move to La La Land.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Our next question is, this celebrity had a prominent role in the TV series Gilmore Girls from 2000 to 2007.
That is, of course, Alexis Bledel, another big influential show in my life, Gilmore Girls. I used to say that the big three for me were the 3 Gs, Gilmore Girls, Gossip Girl, and Glee.
I never watched Gilmore Girls.
I highly recommend it. It was actually funny. Alexis Bledel, she's actually Argentinian and speaks Spanish as her first language, which you would not know from seeing her. But she was a model before she was on Gilmore Girls, and that was her first ever acting role. And when you watch season 1, there's a lot of scenes where because Alexis Bledel plays like a 16-year-old and she has her mom. There's all these scenes in the first season where her mom is constantly like wrapping her arm around her and like moving her, and that's because Alexis Bledel couldn't find her mark. She'd never acted before. So when you do go watch Gilmore Girls, there's a fun little tidbit for you about Alexis Bledel.
That's interesting. Okay,
right?
I have to watch it.
Yeah.
I have to spot that. Yeah, I did learn. I was watching some interviews with her, and I did learn that she does speak Spanish, and that's her first language.
Yeah, I never would have guessed it.
That's what she says. She's like, because I look white, and people don't assume.
She has like no accent or anything like that. So I was like, oh, cool. And like, it's also funny because I think there was a part on Gilmore Girls where she had to pretend she didn't understand Spanish, which must have been funny.
Yeah, because she did do that. Like when she was like younger, when people would assume that she didn't know how to speak it, she'd be like listening in, and like completely understand what they were saying.
Yeah, that's actually kind of
I do
funny,
that too.
Like I always love those scenes in like movies or TV shows when like somebody's talking shit about somebody in a different language, and then that person reveals that they can speak that language. I love that.
Yeah, you never know. And you know what I realized in New York, because it's so diverse,
you can't
so many
assume,
people, you can't assume. And like, I made the mistake of doing that.
Yeah,
I mean, I got shit.
I try not to, because also like there are some situations where like, because I like took Spanish classes for like my whole life, and I still suck at Spanish, but I can understand a lot more than I can speak. So sometimes like, and especially living in LA, like sometimes like an opportunity will come up for me to like demonstrate that I can speak Spanish, or like, talk to somebody in Spanish. And I never do it because I'm like, oh God, I'm too embarrassed. My accent is terrible. So yeah.
You're like, hola.
Right? Hola, mi amo. Like, no, I'm at least a little better than that, but still, nope.
I completely understand. I was telling my fiance, I was like,
Tortilla.
I took Chinese. Tortilla, I know, right? What is it? There's another funny one that people say. I don't know. I can't even think of it right now, but people really be English-fying Spanish words to the T. I'm like, I hope I don't sound like that, because sometimes I exaggerate. Like I will be like, I'll say something and I'll get made fun of it, because I said it that way. And I'm like, oh, I'm just like mocking it. I'm just,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
like, but sometimes I do get caught up where I'm like saying and I'm like not meaning to say it that
Yeah,
way.
exactly.
I need to stop. um, all right, where was I? Where was I on these questions? Okay, number 7. We're on number 7. Okay. This celebrity starred in the hit sitcom series Superstore and played the role of Amy.
That would be America Ferrera. And I was thinking about checking that show out. But I mean, have you watched it?
Yeah, I watched all the seasons. They're
Do
so
you think
good.
I should check it out?
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
love me a good workplace comedy. If you're listening to this and you haven't watched Abbott Elementary yet, go do that.
Oh my
If
God,
you
did you
want.
watch the last episode?
Yes! Oh my God, we can't say anything.
No.
But yeah, please, if you're
Oh, it was
listening to this and you
amazing.
haven't seen Abbott Elementary, go watch it. But
It's
yeah, I've
so
been meaning
good.
to watch Superstore.
Yeah, no, it's not dry humor.
Hmm.
I feel like it's not dry humor. It's not like The Office, but the humor is definitely there. Like the punches, you still have like that like same concept where there's like some romance going on between like two
Hmm.
characters.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, you'll like it a lot. Like I really did like Superstore,
Okay,
and I
I'll
was
have to
really
check it out.
disappointed. I was disappointed when they canceled it. I think season
Hmm.
6 was the last season. Because I thought it was gonna keep going. I'm like, damn, like The Office went on longer than this, right? I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure The
Oh, well,
Office
The
went for like
Office
10
went
seasons.
on too long,
It did. It started
like way too
dragging.
long.
Yeah.
I
But
just don't think you can have like I don't think it really if somebody has an example of this working, I would love to know, but I can't think of a single show that benefited from its main character leaving.
no, I know. But do
Like
you remember why he left?
Even Grey's is trying to pull that shit right now, and it's like this just if you're losing your main character, it's probably time to call it a day.
I know, because a lot of people watch it for the main character. Like Michael Scott made The Office.
Yeah, and also like I think they tried to do the same thing on The Walking Dead and also Vampire Diaries. Those are two other shows that I haven't seen, but they kept things going when the
Oh
main character
yeah.
left.
When Nina Dobrev
Yeah.
finally
She was
decided to
gone for the
leave
like 3 whole seasons or something.
because she was like asleep.
Which is just end it, bro. I don't know. Like I heard the most I think the most devastating thing that happened to me this week was I found out that Succession is only gonna have one more season. And that news like honestly fucking broke me because I'm obsessed with that show. But honestly, I always say you want to go out on a high. Like you got to leave people wanting more. So
But that's also what's sad. It's like you want
I
more and you
know
know you're
it's
not
like,
gonna get
God
it.
damn it.
I know. I know. And I haven't gotten into it. I've tried, Lizzie. I'm like on episode 2
It
and I'm
took
like,
me
damn.
several goes at it. It took me a few cracks, but
Okay.
it's worth it. It's worth it.
Okay. I have
It's
to listen to
beyond
you
worth
because
it.
Haley watches it too.
Yeah, and
So
you still have like a month left to watch it before the new season starts, so you should do it. Yeah.
I like doing that too because then you're like, it's refreshed.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Both Yellow Jackets and Succession are coming back on the same day, which is gonna blow my mind. But
Oh my
Yellow
God,
Jackets,
same day?
honestly, Yellow Jackets is so up Onyx's alley. Like Yellow Jackets like might as well be an Onyx thing.
Hell yeah. Oh my God. Yellow Jackets is like
I
so
know.
freaking good. Like, damn, so have you seen the script for Yellow Jackets? Like, have you like,
No,
I
I
don't know,
haven't
like,
seen the script. No. Should I check it out?
you should definitely check out the script and see like their format in
Mhm.
writing it. Like, because there's so many flashbacks, like, you
Yeah.
got to know your shit. Like, you have to
Yeah.
be organized with the story in
It
your
was
head.
also
It's so
fun
good.
watching it from week to week. I don't know if that's what you were doing too.
Hmm.
But honestly, between that and Succession and House of the Dragon and The Last of Us, I know those are like 90% HBO shows, but having the week to week format for a show, I miss it. I feel
Hmm.
like I grasp more of the show. I have I mean, obviously it is hard when like sometimes week to week I kind of forget what happened, but that's what recaps were invented for. I definitely love even like splitting a season in two and dropping the episodes. Like, I don't know if you watch You.
Yeah.
That one is doing like part 1 and part 2 for its season. I like that. I miss the opportunity to sit with things, you know?
Yeah, because then you binge it all in one and then you're done. And then
Yeah,
that's it.
and you just like obvious there are still times I will fuck up a binge. Like great, but like for really big stuff, I like the week to week. I do.
Yeah, because you're anticipating more.
Yes. Yes. And like
But then
you
I get
also like
disappointed.
and you're
Mhm.
experiencing it in real time with other people, which I think is like I mean, like the aspect of film and TV that is communal, that it's experience that we share is like the most important thing to me. So I feel like, I mean, it's like when Netflix goes and drops like 4.5 hours of Stranger Things in one day, it's like for just 2 episodes or whatever, it's like I guess I gotta sit through this like feature film twice over, you know?
Yeah, these episodes are getting longer. I'm like, am I
Yeah, and
watching a
seasons
film?
are getting shorter, which
Yeah.
I'm theoretically fine with TV show seasons getting shorter. I think it depends on the show. If you're making a big scary giant drama show, give me 10 episodes, that's fine. If you're making me an Abbott Elementary, you better give me 35 episodes per season.
I know. I thought they were gonna stop because they took forever. So have you been noticing their episode releases are kind of delayed on some
Yes, and I've
weeks?
actually noticed that more and more with broadcast shows because the ABC airs both Abbott and Grey's, so I'm always on there hitting Hulu up every week, and it's like, yeah, their episode release schedule on broadcast has been kind of fucked, but I don't know what that's about. I guess there's just less episodes, so they have to spread them out more.
Yeah, I guess so. But that's so like unfortunate because I'm like
I
waiting
know I'm
for
always like,
that
is this
week.
a week? Do I get Abbott this week, please? Can I have my weekly dose of that, please?
I think they're wrapping it up soon because they shared a post. Quinta Brunson shared a post about they had like a wrap up party for season 2
Yeah, but
already.
they have been renewed for season 3.
They better be renewed for season 3.
I think Abbott is the kind of show that exists for like has the potential for a lot of longevity.
Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of realms that you can explore.
Yeah, and there's a lot of room to work with and to explore with those characters. But anyway, we're getting way off topic.
I know we are. We're getting into
Let's
TV
finish
shows.
our
Also,
game.
that's a plus. All
Exactly.
right. Let's see. Okay. So this celebrity directed episodes of the show Gentified on Netflix.
I want to say, because isn't that like I think it's supposed to be a play. I've never heard of this show, but just from hearing the title, is it supposed to be a play on the word gentrified, but it's hintified?
Gentified,
Is
yeah.
that what it's supposed to be? Please don't come in at me, and if you're listening to this, don't come at me at my Spanish pronunciation. I already know.
Her
But
Spanish hasn't
since
come
there's
through
only
yet.
one member of the cast who this could fit for, I want to say America Ferrera. Am I right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. It is a really good show. It has 2 seasons. I really
Hmm.
like the show. This was the first show that had a Latina queer person as
Oh,
like one of the main
cool.
characters. Yeah,
Oh, is
that's what
it
I'm saying.
so is it a like a fiction or is it a reality show?
No fiction.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I thought it was a reality show. That sounds cool. Okay, so Superstore and this. Okay, I gotta make an America Ferrera retrospective.
Yes, yes. And they canceled it obviously after season 2 because they just don't like renewing any shows that have to do with the Latinx community. Like that's how
Well,
I'm feeling like right now.
also these days, it's like if your show isn't a giant hit in season 1, you're gone. Which
Yeah.
sucks because there are so many shows that have taken a while to find their footing. Like not every show can be Breaking Bad and have like an amazing pilot and have everything figured out from episode 1. Not that Breaking Bad had everything figured out, but you know what I mean? Like there are some shows that have absolutely amazing pilots, and then there are some shows that need a little bit longer to figure out what they are. And like shows don't get that opportunity anymore. They just get canceled like immediately if 5,000 million people don't watch them on day 1.
I know, which is like very unfortunate. But
Like
even
if
then,
Parks
like,
and Rec or The Office were to air today, they both would have been canceled after season one, which sucks because season one of both of those shows is like 6 episodes of them just like trying to figure their shit out. And it's like shows don't get to do that anymore.
no, they don't because they don't want to waste the money. They don't want
No.
to bargain like that anymore.
Yeah.
Times have changed.
I'm still really upset that the Gossip Girl revival got canceled recently because it was just starting to find its footing as its own show, as opposed to just like the first one, and then it got canceled. So
Yeah, I didn't like season one that what like much. It was
season
dragging. And then
two
season
had a
two got
lot of
better.
season two had a lot of compelling stuff about it. Just my main complaint with that show is, man, the acting is fucking awful.
The
Especially
acting is
compared
rough.
to, I mean, on the original show, you have Blake Lively and like Leighton Meester and like all like Leighton Meester, who plays Blair, is definitely the best actress on that whole show. But like there's quite a few really solid I mean, Penn Badgley. There's like a lot of solid performers on that show. Taylor Momsen. And then with the new one, it was like so.
I got annoyed. That's why I couldn't watch it anymore. You know who's acting really annoyed me that I just could not
Who?
watch anymore? That teacher, the blonde one.
Yes, my friend and I, our least favorite, oh no, it was Sophia, you know Sophia. Our least favorite actor on that show was Zoya's dad, is one of the worst actors I've ever seen in any show or movie.
That's why he barely had any lines. He was just
Because
there
he
every
was
once in a
like
blue moon.
the worst actor I've ever seen. And also Julian, for the main character, she was not giving it her best shot.
Yeah, I wasn't messing with it. I don't know. Like I said, season two did get better, but like I couldn't even finish it. Like
If
I couldn't
you're
even.
really, really, really bored, watch season two. But that's all I can. And then we're never getting any more. So I don't even know if you should bother.
No,
They
just watch
also
Gossip Girl. Watch the original.
they announced the cancellation where there were two episodes left of the season to air. And that's depressing because they should have waited until after the season ended to announce that, because then I barely wanted to watch the last 2 episodes because I was like, oh, well, none of the stuff that happens is this is going to get resolved. So
Yeah. You're like, so what's the point?
I know.
I hate no
Okay, looks like
resolution.
we've got 2 more questions here, and I know one of them and I don't know one of them.
Okay. So question number 9. This celebrity had a starring role on Two and a Half Men as Jenny Harper.
I will say I've never seen 2.5 Men, but that's another show where the main character left and they kept it going.
But for
I
reasons though.
Oh really? Oh,
Yeah,
because
something went up with him.
it was Charlie Sheen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it. I guess I'm just gonna say Amber Tamblyn. Am I
Yeah,
right about that? Okay, cool. I was like
you're right.
trying to figure out again what made sense on the timeline.
And
But the
then the
next
last
one
one.
is so that this one got this one.
You got this one. Okay. So the last one is this celebrity went to star in movies like The Age of Adeline, 2015, The Shallows, 2016, and A Simple Favor, 2018.
That is Blake Lively. The only one of these I've seen is A Simple Favor because it features Blake Lively being gay in a suit, and that is great. Right up my childhood, like girl alley. I will say Blake Lively picks the most bizarre films to be in. Like her filmography is really bizarre. Her like looking at the films that she's been in, yeah, I feel like she's made some interesting choices with what movie she's been in, but yeah.
Well, you know now that her resume looks very diverse and that she can play any role.
That's one word for it. Is definitely diverse.
All right, well, that wraps up our slumber party type game for
Ooh,
today.
how many did I get right?
9 out of 10.
Yes. Okay.
You only
Cool.
got one wrong. All right. So, like I mentioned before, we're going to be talking about the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 2, which is available to watch on Prime Video, Vudu, and Apple TV. This discussion will contain spoilers for the film. So, if you haven't already seen it, go watch and then come back afterwards to hear our thoughts.
Yeah.
So, Lizzie, you want to go in for it? Tell us what
Yeah,
it's about.
so So the synopsis is after finishing their freshman year of college, four best friends, Bridget, Lena, Tibby, and Carmen, find themselves separated over the summer where they once again have to navigate the trials and tribulations of love, life, and growing up all by themselves, but never alone. And they've got a magical pair of jeans
That they have
that
created
magically
over the,
fit all four of them. If you
which I
haven't
don't
seen the first
understand.
one.
Because I know
Um,
that my jeans will not fit just
I
anyone.
yeah, the fact that they tried to get us to believe that Blake Lively and America Ferrera could wear the same pair of pants was really funny because
Yeah, I
Blake
know they
Lively is like
completely
a
changed that.
million feet tall also. It's
Exactly.
easier to suspend your disbelief in the book when you can't actually picture what they look like. But you know what? I'm chill. I'm rolling with it. I absolutely love because both this movie and the first one start with them like Carmen is giving her monologue while they like drift over the parts of the pants and like the patches that they stitched on. I love that shit.
That's really cute. Like, I wish that friend groups
Yeah.
would do that type of shit. That you're like, oh, we're gonna design pants and send it. Like, that's a lot of going to the post office and sending
That's
those
what
damn
I was
pants.
saying because a lot of them like shipping stuff is expensive, especially like
Mhm.
overseas. I know there was also a part of the, climax of the film where they lose the pants is that Bridget is like, it's your guys' fault because the rotation got messed up. But the pants got returned to sender to Tibby because Bridget left Turkey and didn't tell them. So she didn't give them like a forwarding address. So it's kind of her fault that the pants
Yeah.
got lost if you really want to assign blame. Although also it's Effie's fault, Lena's sister. I just cannot believe Effie in this movie. Like she's like dating her sister's best friend brother who's like way older than her. At Brian, that's creepy. Tibby even acknowledged that it was creepy. And then she fucking like steals their like most important possession and like takes it to another continent. So
And let's talk about the sister. So Effie is played by Lucy Hale. What? I
yes.
completely forgot.
Yeah.
This is
It's
when she was
actually
like
kind of
starting out
funny
acting.
because she looks like she's the same age as the rest of them, even though she's supposed to be younger. So that's interesting too. Like when you see her, because when I was a kid watching this movie and seeing her dating Brian, I was like, that's whatever, like, but now that I'm older, I'm like, I was doing the mental math. I was like, all right, Effie's still in high school and Brian is, I guess, in college. We don't really know what's up with that because we never see him in this movie talk about his college or anything like that. So I don't know what he's up to, but the math is not mathing for me.
Yeah,
Um,
no. And honestly, Brian, I'm like, out of
I
all people,
know, I know. They all like again, there's the teen movie and show thing of them ending up with you always end up with the first person you ever dated. That's who you're
yeah.
supposed to like be with forever. Hence Lena and Kostos also.
Oh, yeah. That's so
Man,
cute.
Lena and Kostos in the books, that was like hot, sexy chemistry that they had. That was the love story in the books. It was actually kind of awesome. I think my biggest thing with it in the movie is that they have Lena meet the like super hot like he's also on Grace, but he's like the hot sexy like six pack like dream boy who like makes her amazing dinners and whatever. And then he just like drops out of the movie.
Yeah, because then she goes to Greece and then they just like randomly keep popping up in Greece. I'm like, wow, that's amazing.
And like she goes off and like kisses Kostos or whatever. And I'm like, but what about the hot, nice, sweet guy? I personally think that my favorite aspects of the relationships in these movies is that without exception, all the guys who are into these girls are like very like they all have like six packs and they're all like the nicest, sweetest, like most thoughtful guys you've ever seen. And it's like, damn, like Brian having a six pack was like so unexpected. It like almost didn't fit with his character for him to be like that ripped,
Yeah, or
you
like just his
know?
like persona. I'm like,
Yeah, it's just
just
kind of
didn't
crazy
fit.
that they're all ripped.
Yeah, I mean, they
It's kind of a
definitely did that
slay.
on purpose.
Although
Yeah,
I don't think we know if the cute theater boy is ripped. I don't think he ever takes his shirt off. But he's British, so like that. And I say this all, I'm gay. I don't know what women look for in men, but I'm guessing having a six-pack helps, you know?
I guess. I mean, I've never dated anyone with a six pack, nor is that something that I'm like, oh my God, raise up your shirt so I can see if you have a six pack, because that's a deal breaker.
I mean, I feel like if I were a straight woman dating a man who had a six-pack, I would definitely want everyone to know that my boyfriend had a six-pack. You know what
To
I
be like, walk
mean?
around with no shirt.
Literally, like that's what Bridget's guy from the first movie, who again, he's also creepy because he was remember the soccer coach in Mexico that she was like trying to get with.
Because you have read the books, what
Yes.
differences did you see in these movies versus the books? Like, I know when I
Yeah.
read Twilight and I watched the movie, I'm like, oh my God, they forgot so much. Like, what did they forget in this film?
Well, I also feel like forgetting is more like there's certain things that just don't gel in an adaptation. Like I feel like if there's a lot of people who like, especially like for example, like The Last of Us is airing right now. There's a lot of like people who are like passionate fans of the game, and the show has made some changes that people have disagreed with. But I mean, from what I've like seen and read, because I was too fucking scared to play that video game because I am deathly afraid of zombies, but like I knew the story and stuff going into the show. And like there are just some things that you change when you adapt something because it works better in one format or another. And so I think that like an adaptation in general is a chance to like tell a slightly different story than the original, because if you just want a carbon copy of the original, you can go read the book and it'll be, you know what I mean? Or you can revisit the game or like whatever the original work is. Like you still have that. And even if there's like a terrible adaptation of it out there, Avatar The Last Airbender, that doesn't have to affect how you experience the original. So I definitely feel like I wouldn't say they like, and again, I would need to revisit all the books, but there's a lot of stuff that they kind of just condensed. So like Carmen's thing with like, her parent drama. Her dad is not in this movie at all, which I thought was insane because her dad was like that was like her main storyline in the last film, is that she wanted to get along better with her dad. So it would have been a really awesome wrap up if her dad showed up at her play, but he didn't. But I mean, a lot of the stuff is the same. Like, I think they all go to the same colleges in the movie that they go to in the books, which is funny because in Gossip Girl, Serena's whole thing was, is she going to go to Brown? And then in this movie, she's also at Brown. So it's like,
Should have
but
went to Brown.
it is of course also the thing where they all go to like very prestigious schools. Tibby having her film school moment at NYU was so funny to me because I hadn't rewatched this movie, I think, since graduating college. I don't think so. Like seeing them all do their little college thing was like, oh my God, I'm older than them now, which is insane because, like when I was younger, I thought they were impossibly grown up, and now I'm like, shit, I'm older than them.
But also rewatching this like older and seeing what they're going through at that age, I'm like, oh wow, like I
Yeah.
understand this now. Like I'm getting a better
Yeah.
grasp, like especially when Tibby was going through her like pregnancy scare.
Yes, I was gonna say because I mean for fairly obvious reasons I've never had one, but I am familiar with people in my life who have had pregnancy scares, and like that's exactly what it's like the shame and the fear and like not wanting to face it and just kind of pretending it's not happening, which is something
Yeah.
I also feel like that very well aligns with Tibby's character arc in the first movie, where she's the fucking plot line where it's like she's got a little girl best friend who's dying. I
Yeah.
always thought that plot line was so crazy because I've always the thing in movies where it's like this little kid who's dying and they're like a little angel and they're like, it's okay, I'm going towards the light. You have to learn how to love. Like that thing always really gets me. But like her like learning to like accept Brian's love and like, you know, let people love her and like be like, you know, like Brian says to her, like, not everyone who loves you is going to leave you. So I kind of thought that that was her decision to kind of shut him out did align with her character in the first movie, where she's also refusing to acknowledge the fact that Bailey is dying. So there is that. I also feel like Bridget's storyline in this is really good because, I mean, Bridget's storyline in the first movie, obviously, you know, she spends the whole summer chasing this hot guy, thinking that getting with him is going to like make her feel good about herself. But then she does get with him and it doesn't make her feel any better because she's has to process all this, you know, stuff with her mom's death. So having her in this movie with the go back to meet her grandma and stuff, I think is also a nice, like, kind of wrap up of that, because that did happen almost exactly that way in the books, where she goes to visit Alabama and meet her grandma, and like the letters thing that her dad hid, like all of that was in there. So it was kind of, I mean, having a plot line where like the teenage girl's main problem is that her mother took her life is very unique and like raw and like kind of like, it's not really a depiction of mental illness that I've ever seen quite like in fiction before. I did think it was kind of sad in this movie when the grandma is like, you're not like your mom, you're stronger than her. I thought that was a little bit of an interesting take, because I feel like these days implying that someone who died by suicide like wasn't strong enough, is that, I feel like that's a very outdated notion these
Or
days.
selfishness, that they think the person is selfish.
Yes. Yeah. So I
Mm-hmm.
do feel like, you know, time passing. I mean, this movie came out what, like 15 years ago now, like, there, if this movie were made today, there'd definitely be some tweaks. I also thought it was interesting that it's never presented as an option for Tibby to get an abortion. That's never brought
Yeah.
up, which
It's never brought up, or taking the day after pill.
yes, that's never, if that were today, that would have definitely been on the table, I think. Because like when Brian comes to talk to her about it, he's like, I can get a job, which like clearly implies to me that he is expecting, like, if she's pregnant, that she will just have the baby. And they have that scene where she's like walking down the street and like seeing all the people with babies and she starts like freaking out.
Oh my God.
Um,
That reminds me too, because like she's in New York and that's
mhm.
exactly what happens. Like, especially if like school's letting out, you see a bunch of
Yeah, there's all
children.
the babies.
Yeah, and they're like little, what is it, those strollers that they have, like nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, it definitely looks like that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, just I don't know, there was something about, and also like I started thinking about it more, and like Brian, so he doesn't have a job, and he also doesn't appear to be in college, because he seems to still like when Tibby goes to her parents' anniversary party, it's like Brian is like there with Effie, implying that like they've been in their hometown dating. So it's like, if he's not in college, he doesn't have a job. Girl, Tibby, kick him to the curb. Like, no offense, but like, you need a man who's not gonna like, the first time you have an emotional problem is gonna like leave and go date your bestie's younger sister.
Yeah, and he was so quick with like ignoring her then when he saw her. He was like, "Oh, I didn't expect you to be here." I'm like, "Yeah, you
Which is
did.
so
You knew
funny
it."
because like, yeah, no fucking duh, she's there. Like, oh my God. The men in these movies.
I know. That's why we
Costas.
don't
Okay, I
date
also
men.
thought it was so funny that Costas flew to RISD to see Lena and decided to just sit in the quad and like hope that she would walk by.
Yeah, I know. And then he caught her like right at a great moment. And that's what I'm saying. These airplane flights, I'm like, damn, they were back and forth. Then he goes back to
I
Greece.
know. Well, they did acknowledge it slightly, because at the end when they go to Greece, Carmen is like, "Oh, my stepdad had a bunch of frequent flyer miles for us to use."
Mm.
So at least they like had that. But yeah,
Yeah, because
just
no way people wouldn't be like, how the fuck are these like like not teenagers, but these college students who have no jobs and
well,
are in
I also
college.
think because like I think that there was a lot of driving going on, because like they were in Vermont, New York, and Rhode Island. And those are all like pretty close to it. Like I think those are in driving distance, right?
Yes, for the most part. Like Vermont, I was really like intrigued that she went to a theater camp in Vermont. I've heard them having a lot of theater camps in Connecticut. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's well known here for like kind of if you want to get into like theater and stuff, a lot of people end up working in Connecticut.
The whole
Yeah.
theater plot line was really interesting to me because, in the last movie, Carmen is like, she identifies herself as the writer. That's like but in this movie, she does not ever mention working on writing anything. Tibby mentions working on writing a script, but Carmen kind of seems to have forgotten about that, which is interesting because in the book, she was not presented as like the writer. So I
Mm.
feel like, because I feel like Carmen is kind of supposed to be the character that the audience like sort of sees the rest of the characters from, because she's the one who does the monologues in the movie.
Mm.
Like those are all Carmen for the most part. So it's kind of like it didn't really seem like they knew what to do with Carmen.
Yeah, so why does she enter? I forget. I forget what happens in the first film with narration. Does she narrate the first film?
She at the very least does the beginning and the end
Okay.
of the stuff, because there's her opening monologue in the first movie is actually the jeans being made, so like you see the like sewing machine and like her voice is talking over it.
Oh, and then in the second movie, her mom's pregnant and I
Yes.
have her baby brother, and it's so cute. So
Yes.
that video of that
Mm-hmm.
Tibby made for her,
Yeah.
that made me tear up. That was
I
so
know.
cute.
It was really, really, really sweet. It also showed how willing the girls are there for each other, because Carmen and Tibby had just had a huge fight, but Tibby immediately went over to the hospital, no questions asked.
That's a true friend right there.
It also actually, there is a scene, I believe it's between Carmen and Tibby in the first movie, where they have a big fight, and then when they make up, one of them says something that's been stuck in my head for literally 10 years. She was like, it's easier to fight with the people that you love the most because you know that they're not going to leave.
Yeah, that's
Like it's
true.
it's it's easier to be mad at people who are like the most important people to you. You know what I mean? I always thought that was an interesting perspective, because I mean, these girls fight, but like you can tell that they really do love each other and would do anything for each other.
Yeah, like the second movie, you see them fighting, especially
Oh yeah,
over
they
the
fight a
pants being
ton. Yeah.
lost.
Growing pains associated with like starting college as well.
Yes, because everyone is starting to become their own person. Like people
Yes.
start doing their own thing, and that's what Cameron, what was
Carmen.
it? Carmen. That's her name. That's what Carmen starts to experience when she's asking everyone what they're doing for the summer, and everyone's gonna
Yep.
be doing their own thing. So
There are so many like little funny things about that. Like the scene where Lena runs into Costas. She's like, I have to go. I'm gonna be late for class, but she's only taking one class that she was just in when she saw him. So I mean, she was probably lying just to get away from him, but I did think it was funny that she was like, I gotta go to class when like she just left her class. We
no,
never see Tibby do a single thing for summer school, except like she talks about writing her script, but we never see it.
she consistently talks about writing her script.
Yeah, but we never see her do summer school. I think the one that really grinds my gears is um Bridget's like archaeological dig, because that girl's like, look, I found a whole jaw in 5 seconds. We found a whole skeleton. I accidentally fell into this room and it's full of cool stuff and I didn't break any of it. Like, girl, archaeology takes years. I get that
And it
it's
was
a
surprising.
movie and they needed to condense it, but also like what business does Bridget have doing archaeology?
Exactly. Yeah. So Sanaa Hamri is an American Moroccan filmmaker. She was born in Tangier, Morocco. She comes from both Muslim Moroccan and Jewish Moroccan families. So she was at one point the only female student in her high school,
Wow.
right? She graduated from Sarah Lawrence College with a degree in theater arts. She originally moved to New York City after college to pursue acting. don't we all?
Right.
Decided to pursue behind the camera work after struggling to find work as an actor, which is kind of
Oh, look, it's Carmen. Isn't it interesting that our point of view character is very similar to our director?
Yeah. That's probably why she gravitated towards this movie.
Yeah.
She was noticed by cinematographer Malik Hassan Saeed, who showed her work to Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey then hired Hamri to direct one of her music videos. She had a very successful career as a music video director, directed many artist videos, including Mariah Carey, Prince, Jay-Z, and Nicki Minaj's Superbass.
That is wild.
Right? Like, who would have known?
That's crazy.
So, has been recognized and overlooked in both contemporary Black cinema and contemporary women's cinema, as her films generally fall under the chick flick category.
Ugh, don't even get me started on that.
The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 2, 2008, was her second feature film after Something New, 2006. She went on to direct Just Right, 2010, starring Queen Latifah and Common. She has produced and directed multiple television episodes of Shameless, 2011 to 2021, Desperate Housewives, 2004 to 2012, Grey's Anatomy, 2005 to present, and Glee, 2009 to 2015. So, hey, there you go. I think her work just gravitates towards you. She is versatile when it comes to languages. Hamri speaks English, French, Spanish, and a dialect of Moroccan. So aims to create films that, quote, that people from all walks of life can enjoy or get something out of.
I feel like this is that kind of story. Because like you get this like interesting thing of like each character getting to be completely separate from each other, but also all united.
Yes.
Which is not easy to pull off.
Yeah.
Especially in a teen setting. Because they are still teens. They're probably like what, 19?
Yeah.
At this point in time or something like that. So they're still teenagers.
Like playing as if they're like 17, 16-year-olds.
Yeah, I do feel like there are some like really apparent differences in how the girls are like shot in this one versus the last one. The last one, and again, also part of this is because of the nature of Bridget's storyline where she was trying to focus on her like looks and like getting this guy. But there's a lot of focus on like Bridget's body and like her beauty and how like beautiful she is. Same with Lena. Like, you know, they're always the way that those two girls were shot was so distinct from how America Ferrera and Amber Tamblyn were shot. Like there was so much more focus on like their beauty and their bodies. And in this movie, since it's directed by a woman, I feel like you get much more of that, like focusing on the girls more and not like, you know, what they look like or whatever. And I also feel like it's so funny and refreshing that all these like just really hot guys are just throwing themselves at these girls. And I definitely feel like having a female director, you get a little bit of that wish fulfillment in there. You have, you know, the perfect guy who just wants to be with you. I feel like the thing that exemplifies that like early 2000s or like mid-aughts idea of like the love interest is Carmen's guy. Where he's like, I only wanted to date you all summer. I don't care about your hot blonde roommate. She's mean. Which she is. But
and trying to sabotage her.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. And that's why there is a difference between a male and female perspective when it comes
to absolutely.
And you see it right off the bat. There's another film, was it the Twilight series? Same thing happened. The first movie was directed by a woman, Catherine Hardwicke, and then the other ones were directed by men.
Yeah.
You can see the difference.
You can.
Like the tone even changes. The look changes.
And I don't want to just like blanket say that that's a bad thing. Because I do feel like, for example, like in the first movie, like it does make a little bit more sense to focus on, you know, like because Lena is having her whole like love story thing. And so obviously, you know, there's a lot of like, I mean, Lena and Kostos have a ton of chemistry. So It makes sense to have that. Not as much chemistry I have in the book as they have in the books, but whatever. And then you also had the fact that Bridget was deliberately trying to exploit her looks in the first book, whereas that's not something that she's trying to do in these. Like she's trying to, I guess, prove herself in a different way.
Mhm.
There's something so funny about being a 19-year-old randomly getting invited to participate in a huge archaeological dig when you don't even have a major declared. And then you like disobey. There was that one part where, because it is very in character for Bridget to see the like do not enter sign and just keep going. But she like fell in this big ass hole and then was just like, I'm gonna go home.
I'm
I
over
got a real kick out of that. She didn't even tell anybody that she was leaving. She just left.
it. That's like such a savage move, but like bad.
Right?
Like, I don't care. I don't care about the consequences.
Like, how much do you think that cost for her to be there?
I know. I'm like, where did they shoot this? Like, did they actually have to go to like Bumblefuck Desert
Well,
area?
it looks like they filmed it in Santorini, New York, and Connecticut, with Western Connecticut State University being used for the college campus scenes. So I don't know why they didn't just set the theater festival in Connecticut if they were already shooting in Connecticut, but whatever. I definitely think it must be so nice to go shoot in Greece. Can you imagine?
God, it looks so nice. The water,
I
like
know.
the water. I'm like, oh my God.
There's this one part in the first movie where Kostas takes Lena out on his boat in the night, the boat that we see at the end of the movie where they meet up. And there's Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield playing.
Oh, that's so
I
nice.
know I
So
constantly
cute.
listen to the soundtracks from these movies because they're so good. I love the scene that the song that plays when the girls are walking around Santorini posting the flyers of the jeans everywhere. It feels weird to call them the pants. I'm not like they're like I feel like if I am talking about a pair of jeans, I say that they're jeans. I don't know.
Because they are jeans. I feel like
Yeah.
pants are like you think that anything but jeans.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I don't know like why they did have that really funny joke where Lena asked her grandma how to say lost pants and the grandma was like, "Oh, Greek girls don't lose their pants." I thought that was funny.
And then she just kept drawing.
Yeah. It is funny that they also like Alexis Bledel and what's the sister's name? The actor from Pretty
Effie,
Little Liars.
Lucy Hale.
Yeah, they are both like the palest girls and they're like, "We're Greek."
Yeah. I'm like,
I really get a kick out of that.
sure.
But I do feel like also the parts are very well cast. Like as like reading the book, like I mean it is like honestly pretty close to how I pictured them.
Yeah.
Which I think is part of what made it so magic for me as a kid was like it was like, oh, that's exactly what I thought, you know?
When it's, I feel like this is when casting comes into play and where it's important. These
Yes.
are the people that, like, when you're reading the books, now you're envisioning them as the
Yes.
characters. At least I do. Like
Yeah.
Harry Potter, that's what happened to me when I was watching Harry Potter, and then I got to the books, and I'm like, okay,
I still feel like to an extent I can tap into what I originally thought of them as, but I feel like part of the reason for that is because there is that fifth book for Sisterhood where they're older, and obviously that book hasn't been turned into a movie yet. So it kind of puts my brain back. There have been talks about them doing a third movie. If that happens, I will be in the theater day one. I can see that so this movie made 44.3 million as opposed to the original, which made 42 million. Whatever the next one makes, it will 90% be me just like going to the theater over and over again to see it.
I think they really should.
They
Everyone's
really,
coming
really
back
should.
with
And I'm
like
pretty sure
gimmicks.
all the actors are down for it because they're all still besties and like they still talk and everything.
And it'd
So
be so great. Like,
yeah, it's really refreshing when you can see a cast who like they actually all like each other and like,
I know there's
because like
that
this movie would
drama.
not work otherwise if they didn't have such good friend chemistry.
Yeah, and it makes a difference. Like you can definitely tell
It
when
would
there's chemistry
almost
or
feel
not.
like a waste to
Mhm.
not like make a third one.
Yeah, like a waste of the series. Like, come on, we can. What's a like? What is it? Santa Claus, the Claus series. They
Oh
just
my
came
God,
out with a new
yeah.
one of him retiring. I'm like, come on, people. And Princess Diaries, they're gonna come out with a new one.
Wait, didn't the Santa Claus thing show already come out?
Yeah, it already came out.
I didn't watch it, even though those movies are surprisingly dark when you rewatch them as an adult.
They are, because there's some like dark
The
comedy.
first one is like really dark.
Mm.
You know, like I rewatched it and I was like, what the fuck? I don't remember any of this. Like, I don't remember him losing custody of his child, but whatever.
Yeah,
And I do think that this film has you know, like this film is darker than the previous one because the stakes are higher because they're older. Um, I do feel like in general, Tibby is somehow always involved in the storyline that has the highest stakes because in this one it's like, oh shit, am I pregnant? And in the last one it's like, oh shit, my friend is gonna die. You know, so like the stakes are always really, really high for Tibby. I feel bad for her. She like can't catch a break.
No, it's like one thing after the other. But I feel like there's always that person in the friend group that is like really like,
Yes, who's always going through it.
who's
And
always
also
like,
I loved that she randomly was wearing like a black wig.
yeah,
That
I
was so
know.
fun. I love the way she dressed. It was so like of the time
Mm-hmm.
and like just so like her, you know? Like you can tell that she has a really strong identity.
And let's not forget that she worked in like a movie rental spot.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
which
I
was
haven't seen one of those
like
in New York.
okay, like Stranger Things season 4 vibes with
Yeah.
like every teenager working at a video shop.
Who's like a
Um
filmmaker.
and also she was so bad at her job that she basically got fired and then we just never circled around back to that either.
Yeah, exactly.
I
He's like,
don't, because I don't need everything to be wrapped up, but I would, again, I cannot stress this enough, would love to know what happened to Leo, the
oh,
hop guy from art school. How do you fumble that bag?
how do you let that go?
I know for a guy who like doesn't, who's like not that in dedicated to you, really.
Who was supposed to get married. So he was supposed to get married,
He
then
was married.
oh, he was married.
Yeah, they got it annulled because she was like fucking lying about being pregnant, which is like also insane.
What?
Yeah, remember that's what Costa says when he comes to visit her at school for 5 minutes. He probably took like I don't know how long it takes to fly from Rhode Island to Greece, but I'm guessing that's a long flight just to go talk to somebody for 5 minutes. I felt so bad for him that she didn't at least be like, "Why don't we go get coffee?"
Yeah, like why don't we go chat? She's like, no, I'm just gonna leave you. I know that you
Yeah,
all the way
like
here for Grace.
oh,
Goodbye.
I know. I was like, "Damn." But also again, that's when she could have been like, "I have a boyfriend."
Yeah. Yeah,
Like, please
exactly.
leave me alone. I get that he's hot and dreamy and whatever, but like he's like moving, he's in a different country than you all the time, girl.
I know, and will continue to be in a different
Yeah.
but it is what it is. Long
The
distance,
heart
right?
wants what the heart wants.
Heart wants what it wants. It just
I
sometimes
did
gotta
like that
go.
they didn't have Bridget have a romantic storyline in this movie because I feel like with the last movie, they really kind of buttoned that up for her. Oh God, I don't even know if I want to say what happens with that, but
Go for it.
okay, well, I will say so just about in regards to the fifth book, I'm not gonna say what actually happens in case they make it into a movie. I do feel like if you've seen both of the first two movies, you can pick up a copy of the fifth book and like be fine. Like you won't be confused. But it is in the future. Tibby is still with Brian,
Oh my
still with
God.
Brian. Um, Bridget is with Eric, the guy from the first movie, the
Oh my
soccer
God,
camp
the
hobby guy.
soccer
They're
guy?
like together, like they live together.
What?
Um, and fuck, who am I forgetting?
And Carmen?
Oh, Lena is with like a loser guy who is like she's clearly waiting for Costas. And then they have Carmen engaged to like this like ask because Carmen in the fifth book, Carmen is a famous TV actress and she's dating like a really slimy like Hollywood guy. So
Oh my
two out of the
God.
four of them, in a way, three out of the four of them are still fixated on guys that they met when they were 15.
That is not a good rep.
And I understand, when you watch a teen show or movie, of course it's like, this idea that you have your one true love and it's the first person you dated and nobody else could possibly come close to that person. Not even like the dreamy floppy hair hot art school guy. Well, I get he doesn't really have floppy hair. He's bald, but the theater school guy has floppy hair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the whole, oh, sweet, sensitive guy. Why? There's loads of the men are like falling at these 4 girls' feet. You have so many options.
There's so many options just in general that you do not have to
Yeah,
stick
man.
with the
Like,
same people. Like, let this
yeah.
be a like advice that we're preaching out.
Yeah.
You have so many options there. And I get it. I get heartbreak. I've been there, done that, you know? And it hurts. It hurts when
It hurts so fucking bad, but it's like better than staying with somebody who's like
not treating you right.
Not or like you guys are just at really different places in your life, which I feel like is the main problem that Lena and Kostos are always having, is that they're never on the same page at the same time, which is honestly, that is a formula for a really good love story, because it's like all these like missed opportunities, you know?
If you were to make your own life story film, right?
Yeah.
What type of themes would you make sure that you put into the film?
That's an interesting question. I definitely feel like, I mean, even drawing off this movie, like, and the former one in the series, like the exploration of mental health in Bridget's storyline, I find very interesting and compelling, because she's terrified that she's going to end up like her mom. Like that she's going to like also die, like, and not, you know, like she's afraid of like falling into that same dark place as her mom. And so, you know, she in this one, she's got her grandma reassuring her that like she, you know, she's like, you're strong. And like, I just feel like that would be an interesting idea to explore further, this idea that Bridget is somehow supposed to be like, quote unquote, stronger than the issues from her family. And I feel like that is, you know, a pretty relatable theme, like trying to decide how you measure up to the people who raised you. So I definitely feel like that theme is really interesting in terms of like a coming of age story. And, you know, also like just kind of having that summer fling relationship too is fun. Like with like Lena and Kostos in the first movie. Very like I love the scene where she falls in the water and Kostos has to save her and the pants get hooked on the like fishing hook. Like that, all of that is so good for a teen coming of age movie. But then you fast forward into the future and it's like these characters are so changed, but they're still with these guys and you're just like, you know,
Yeah, like,
or they could just date each other.
or
There's
they
that too.
true, right? They don't necessarily have to be with men.
Look at
Like
Tibby and tell
Tibby?
me that she's
I
not.
know. That's what
Tibby
I
is
was thinking.
bisexual. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules.
Hey, maybe in the new one. Maybe in the new one they'll completely change and she's not with Brian and she's actually
If
with
they change everything about the new book for the movie, I won't be upset.
Okay.
I
Wow. I
won't
feel
be
like
I
I
won't
would
be
be. I'm like,
upset.
no, you left this out. Like, oh no, you should have included this.
There's a lot of stuff that I want them to leave out if they're gonna make
Oh yeah.
a new one. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
we'll see. But in
We'll
terms
keep
of
the
this
campaign.
one, yeah, I just feel like, oh my God, sorry, I could talk about this movie forever, but I don't want to get like too far off of track.
No, it's awesome. Like, well, we're spilling the tea here. We are spilling the ins and outs about this film. But I
Yeah.
really do admire the themes that come out in this film. Like
Yeah.
friendship struggles, that we struggle with our friends. Like, you know, we might not fight
Everybody
with
can
our
relate
friends.
to that.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a bad thing that you have a fight with your friends. We all have it. And
Yeah,
like
and they prove that they love each other no matter what.
exactly. And I think that's what the ultimate goal is that you have like
Yeah.
a good support system with your friends who love you no matter what and who understand you. Now, what would be interesting to see
Mm-hmm.
is like because you know this happens every so often where you grow up with these friends, everyone starts going their own ways and you guys start separating because you guys grow into different people, right?
Yeah.
And exploring that type of theme of just like, you know, coming of age but also finding your own path without those people that you grew up with initially.
Yes. Yeah, because I mean, I've usually been like in my life, I've been just coincidentally a very much like a friend group kind of person. So I definitely can relate to, what it feels like to like you have these people who have been in your corner for so long that you would like literally die for. And then you guys are scattered to the winds and you have to find a way to keep grounded in your previous life and like not let it all slip away. And I
Yeah.
feel, and like the people that you love, don't let them slip away. And I feel like the best example of that was the scene between Tibby and Carmen, where Tibby was like, I didn't come all the way up here for you to just sit there and read your book.
Mm-hmm.
Like this idea of like, you want to spend time and like connect with these people that are so important to you, but there's so much fucking shit going on that you just like lose touch. And so, at the end of the movie, when they all go back to Greece to look for the genes, they're like, the real genes were the friendships we made along the way. And it honestly, it doesn't not work as an ending. Like it does it is like of course, like if you're gonna finish off the series, you have to have some kind of the pants came into their lives magically and also left their lives magically.
Yeah. Do you feel like items such as the pants do hold such significance in friend groups?
That is also interesting. I mean, I definitely think that there are some things that I've been given by my friends that are like truly irreplaceable to me. And so I feel like in that way, I mean, objects really only have the significance that you give them. And so, I guess my main thing with losing the pants, because they were like surprisingly chill about it. I would have been crying
Yeah.
because they also put a lot of work into like making the jeans look as like fun and cool as they did with all the patches and everything. So I would have just been really sad to have all that work
And
go
like
down the drain.
all these girls seem to know how to sew and how to make cool
Yeah.
designs on pants.
I did like because at the end of the first movie and at the beginning of this movie, they use the pants as a way to like catch you up. Like, for example, in this movie, they start off and they have the four girls' colleges have patches on the pants. And that's like a really efficient way of setting up, like, okay, they're in college now, here's where they go to college.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, like it's just it's efficient. It's a nice like it's a physical object that you can refer back to like track the progression of the story.
And that's also like a thing too, where like they went their own separate ways for college. They all didn't have the same
Yes.
interest, but
Yeah.
yet they kind of intertwined in one way or the other.
And at least they all went to college on the East Coast,
Yeah,
so they could
exactly.
still visit. Like all of my high school friends and I, we kind of scattered, but we all stayed in California
Oh,
for
wow.
this. Yeah.
Okay.
So, you do have like roots that you can put down places and you can incorporate the old people in your life into your new life. Well, thank you guys for listening to us rant about this, 15-year-old movie, but we love it so much.
It's so great. If you want to take a watch, please go take a watch on Prime Video. It's only $4, pretty cheap
Yeah. Best
for
$4 you'll spend today.
literally. It really is. It's such a great rewatch.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, there's a reason that like there are certain movies that you can just keep coming back to at any point in your life, and I feel like this is one of them.
This is definitely one of them. So, thank you guys again for listening. This has been Film Spill, a movie night podcast. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. All are at Film Spill Pod. Tell a friend about the podcast if you like, and leave us a review on Apple
Yes,
Podcasts.
please.
That's going to help other people find Film Spill too. And you want other people to find Film Spill. So, give us that review. Special thanks to Onyx Films for promoting us. You can check out Onyx's other projects at onyx-films.com. We can also see Noxious now on YouTube.
Oh yeah. You can find the link to that on our Onyx website.
And I'll definitely add that to the show notes. And Lizzie is starring in that. So
Yeah,
please.
it was my Carmen moment.
Love it. No, it's honestly great. And it's great to see you in that sort of space.
Oh, thank you.
And then also we started our Patreon page. So take a look at our Patreon. I will also link
Yeah, we're very excited about that.
We are. We have been working hard to get that sorted out and figured out for you guys so you guys can be a part of our community.
Okay, until next time, don't cry over a spilled film.